Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. This is our big happy day stream. We have 100,000 subscribers on the channel. Actually, slowly climbing beyond 100,000, almost at 100,100. Well, actually, more specifically, it's at 100,066 right now. But been looking forward to that for a little while. Very excited about it. Let's go ahead and switch on over here. So that, and just at the same time, earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, we just crossed 70 million views too, which that always lags a little bit further behind than subscribers. Subscribers is real time. The view count lags behind, but it's still pretty exciting to see crossing 70 million. So overall, I've been pretty excited about that. Now, I did say at the end of last week that we may be starting the new streaming format this week, but we're not quite there. So we're not to the new stream format. We're not to the overhauled Learn the League webpage. So those are two things. Here's what we've done. Here's what I've been able to do over the weekend, which is primarily, let's see, a lot of updates. Well, okay, so first, all random, all mid, ARAM came out on public beta environment. So I made a video about that if you haven't seen it. Let's go ahead and switch this over. So I made a video about that if you haven't seen it, and that's for anybody who's interested in that custom game mode. If you really like that all random, all mid, this is a fantastic map. They put in a lot of work in customizing it. It is a proving grounds map. I mean, it's basically what you start out when you very first play a game in League of Legends. I think it's like the very first tutorial you can get into is proving grounds, but they've made some tweaks to it, so it's actually a real map, and I'm actually looking forward to that. I think that'll be pretty fun. While I'm not terribly interested in Dominion as a game mode, while I'm not terribly interested in Dominion as a game mode, I think I would be a lot more interested in this, especially since the rules are enforced. So that's pretty cool. Make sure to check out the video on that if you are interested. What else is there? Okay, so let's go ahead and start a contest. In fact, let me announce a stream on the page. We're going to start a contest for another 24-hour contest. We'll give away 5 copies of Learn the League, and we'll do that in 24 hours. And so hold on. You'll be responding, like my Facebook page, and all that fun stuff. But you'll be responding to the post I'm making right now. We are live streaming. And let's go ahead and put this, get a link. I don't know. Let me put this up a little higher. We are giving away, respond here with your favorite champion ability for a chance to win one of 5 copies of Learn the League. This is a 24-hour contest. Winners will be announced tomorrow. Okay, let's go ahead and post this up. So there you go. If you are interested in getting a copy of Learn the League, go ahead and respond. So what else do we have for the weekend? What did I do over the weekend? I've been very, very busy. Actually, while we're on the subject of Learn the League, I updated most sections of the guide, and I added a 50-minute video on positioning. So this is the first video I've actually added to Learn the League. That's going to be available to anybody who has basically a membership. Anybody who has a membership to the site. So if you purchase the book, you can actually go and download this movie too. It's a whiteboard presentation, so it's more of almost a classroom environment where I'm not going through and how to put this? It's a whiteboard environment. In fact, let me actually just load up the video and see if I can. No, those are the files. Where did I put this video? Give you guys an idea of what's in here. Now, none of this is on the page yet, so I've got all these new things coming into Learn the League, but none of it's on the page yet because we haven't updated the page. We haven't added the blog in. We've got the blog kind of running in the background, but there's no direct links to it or anything. And we haven't added the forums, and again, we've got a forum that's running in the background, but we haven't added any links to it, and we're probably not going to, I don't know if we're going to keep it. I'm toying between vBulletin and vanilla forums, where vanilla forums would be hosted by vanilla forums. They're the ones who host like Penny Arcade's forums. But I've also got a vBulletin license just sitting waiting to be used on it, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I don't really like the hassle of hosting my own forums. So I might actually go with the vanilla forum setup, which is all going to be integrated and everything too, so nothing to worry about there. And anybody, even if you don't own the book or whatever, you'll be able to be a part of that. Anyway, where did I put this little video? Let's go down here to League of Legends and positioning. Give you guys an idea of... Hey, thanks for... Okay, so this is kind of an idea of, like, oh, that's one of the worst drawings. I basically go throughout this video... Oh, actually, I should actually show this to you guys, shouldn't I? Yeah, I go through and I say, well, here's, here's a setup that's going on here. Here's how positioning would work out in a situation like this. Two teams going against each other mid-late game. That's most of what this gets into. So there's kind of an example of what this video is. What I mean by whiteboard is where I'm really trying to show you the mechanics behind the game. I'm not just trying to show you, like, in-game, here's some footage, some filler footage or whatever. I'm actually going through and giving you the details in that format. And I have 2 more videos planned in that regard. One for jungling and one like jungling routes and everything, and another for ganking and ganking routes. And actually, so I am a hobbyist cartographer. I spend a lot of time on making really cool maps when I get the opportunity. And this is actually not like an amazing map that I'm working on right now, but I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. This is a League of Legends Summoner's Rift map that I'm working on, actually specifically for the ganking and jungling guides. So this shows all the terrain. It's all anatomically correct, so to speak, but I just didn't want to run into the copyright material of like just blatantly stealing their image. So this is a similar setup and everything. So here you go, and just something I'm working on. It's something I actually spent a lot of my morning working on today, and that's going to be pretty cool. So what else have I been... What else for the weekend here? I saw Prometheus. I won't give any spoilers, and this is nothing that a lot of the reviews didn't already say. So like every time that I watch a movie, I tend to say something about it either on stream or whatever, just kind of give you my opinions on it. And the problem with Prometheus is it's missing like the most important 30 minutes of storytelling that come right in the middle of the movie that apparently just aren't there. It's a 2-hour-long movie, which for Ridley Scott is a short movie. I mean, he's the guy who made Gladiator. So a 2-hour movie is a short movie. It's a beautiful movie. It's a pretty cool movie. It's definitely a horror film. It's got some flaws, but its biggest single flaw is that there's this point in the middle where there needs to be more story told. And it doesn't exist. It just like there's a sudden... It's kind of when there's a sudden burst of action scenes and horror scenes. And it's just missing this whole plot line. Like, I don't know what it's missing, but it's missing something. It's really missing something right in the middle of it. And a lot of the reviewers said it asks a lot of questions, but it doesn't answer them. So anyway, no spoilers, but that's my opinion. I think it's a great movie. You should go see it. It's a horror movie. It's pretty cool, but I don't know. It's missing something. And for Ridley Scott, that's a disappointment because I really like his movies. What is he up to?
He opened the wipes box and is now making a wipe.
Yeah. That is pretty gross. So he's always had a fascination with the our wipes box. Like, let me see if I have an old picture, but do I still have it on my desktop? I think I do. I put up a little video of him yesterday. Oh, come on. Here it is. This is an old picture. So this is going way back. It was like when I was first doing Daily League stuff at night. Man, his hand, you see how it's on that Pampers sensitive box? He's still fascinated by it. Like, just still, to this day, months later, fascinated by it. And he actually just pressed the button and started trying to eat the wipes. So that's why we looked over there real quick. I had a question. Oh, actually, whoa, talk about coincidence. Ciderhelm, I have a question. What's that picture in the background of? The one that's not on the wall. Okay, that's actually what I was about to say, because I have seen this question come up a couple times. So in the background, you'll see right over there a painting. So that is, well, painting. Digital painting is a better way of saying it. It's not an actual canvas. Okay, so this is a piece of art that I commissioned. Somebody said it was for TankSpot. It was not for TankSpot. It was never for TankSpot. But it is related to a project that I've always wanted to get back to working on. So here's an original draft. Let's see if I can actually just pull this right in. So I commissioned a guy who, boy, some of you probably know the artist, and I'm not actually, well, I mean, not suitable for work. I'm just going to go ahead and say this up front. Do not go to his DeviantArt profile unless you are expecting to, or if you are expecting something safe for work, because it is not safe for work, particularly if you disable the mature filter or whatever. So anyway, but this is what I'm going to show you is safe for work. And I commissioned it for this project I've been always wanting to work on. So here we go. That is the first draft. That's the first thing he showed me. And he did a piece of work that was for TankSpot. He did the background, and I'm not sure if it's still there. I have no idea. But he did the background for this way back. And wait. He did the background for TankSpot months before this, and then when I wanted to work on this, I got a commission, or I commissioned him to do this. So it's this Chinese guy. Oh, and I didn't give you the name. It's Azazel 1944. Or it's like tilde Azazel 1944. I can just put that in here. And he's just an amazing artist. Anyway, so there's that. Let me actually show you the kind of better product here. Here's what you're actually seeing in the background here. So, yeah. I mean, he did a fantastic job with it. Just a fantastic job with it. I was very appreciative of the work he did. And let me, while I'm on here, I'll just go ahead and give you guys an ad title. Again, this not safe for work. Azazel 1944. And let's go ahead and change this. And oh, I gotta add some scrolling to it. Configure. Scrolling. And change that up just a little. There you guys go. If you were interested, is that tilde? I actually have no idea what a tilde is. I just know that's a tilde key. But I don't know if it's a squiggly one or if it's the backwards one. The backwards apostrophe one. I have no idea. But there you go. So there's the painting I have back there. And yeah, it's just fantastic. I've had it for a while. We haven't put it up on the wall again. We will. And then there's another painting like directly behind me. And that's a print that I'm not sure exactly who does it, but we have 3 from the same artist, and they're a little bit smaller, obviously. But they're pretty cool. So, yeah. What else? What else do we have to talk about real quick? I have some questions that I was going to answer. I'm looking over at the other monitors. So if you see me look over here, this is when I'm actually trying to look for information. Because that's where I like drop all the information on the, if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the game or the game client or whatever. But if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the stream, YouTube comments, any number of things. And I might change things around just a little so I can more easily adjust for that in the future. But let's see. So MLG, did I watch any of it? Quick answer, no. No. I have been so busy. I have wanted to watch it. I've been wanting to keep up with it. But frankly, for me to get the cool stuff out that I want to get out to you guys, I can't watch the pros. And that's actually been more and more true over time. Like, I can't watch these tournaments going on. So this is like the 3rd major tournament in a row where all I'm catching are clips from games after the fact. Is crazy. I wish I could have had time to watch MLG. I heard about some amazing plays. I heard about CLG. I heard about Team Solo Mid. You know, all this stuff going on. But no, I didn't see MLG. I wish I could have, but I just have to get this other stuff done. I've been so hard at work on, well, everything. So again, let's see. What else? Prometheus. We talked about Prometheus. Yeah, so this is not the new stream format. I promise you guys that'll come soon. It's not going to be that fundamentally different. The new stream format is essentially the old stream format, but I'll actually have subjects each day. So, yeah, it's not going to be like such a dramatic change. I am slowly making the changes that I need for that. I mean, the webcam and all that stuff, that's all part of it. That's all part of this transition. So some of the things are going in, but the actually having, like, here's our subject for the day. And really a lot of it is I want to be able to get replays from you guys, but that comes down to, and I think I said this last time on stream, I want to be able to get replays from you guys and like go through and say, okay, it's such and such a match, you know, check this out, this is what so-and-so could learn, or this is what so-and-so could happen in this situation. I want to be able to get into like actually looking at that and looking at pro plays and stuff like that. But part of that is actually being able to get replay files from you guys, and part of that is actually finishing all the updates to the site, and part of finishing the updates to the site is getting everything else in place first. So that's what we're kind of waiting on. That's what we are waiting on in this regard. Okay, and I know I have some good questions here, so let me answer. I'm trying to see if there's anything cool. Are you guys saying anything? Cider, I have a question. Talk about it. That's not a question. Talk about Avengers is not a. That's a statement, and that's no. I will not. I've talked about Avengers on stream, and yeah, I have my opinions on Avengers. So you guys wanted me to grow a beard. That seemed like a pretty interesting thought. Really, especially the people who gave me the example of Riker and Cisco, being a Star Trek fan myself. But nope, I can't. No writing a beard. Or no writing a beard? No having a beard, because my wife will not allow it. That is 100% guarantee I will not be allowed to have a beard. So, trust me, I'd try it, but it is what it is. All right. Chris, does following the meta in-game usually lead you to victory? So this is from our Facebook page. I'll look at updated Facebook questions if you guys have any. It's in this. It's not the current one. If you want to drop a question in the next older post, the one that I announced earlier today with 100K subscribers. Oh, what am I drinking? Diet Pepsi. I've been a Diet Pepsi fan for years. Trying to think. Probably 8 years now. Just that's what I drink. That's my soda. Sometimes I'll try other, like I like cream sodas too, but it's hard to get a. I have never seen a diet cream soda ever. Like I'm pretty sure they exist. They must, but in the last year I've tried at least 10 brands of cream soda and couldn't find a diet one. Okay, so anyway, where am I going with this? What were we talking about? Chris, does following the meta in-game usually lead you to a victory? What's the problem with laning, or so what's the problem with laning two bruisers in a lane together? Okay, so following the meta in-game does not, how to put this? The meta is there because it works more often than not in highly competitive environments. So the meta, what's being referred to is you have your fighter, bruiser, whatever up top. You've got your carry. You've got your support down bottom. You've got tangent time. I complained, I think on Friday, maybe it was Thursday, but one of those days I complained about Soraka. Just my complaints about Soraka were that they keep nerfing her, but she's still doing exactly what she was originally doing, which is making the lane a stalemate. So you cannot counter the lane. You just can't do it. Oh, you can, right? If they make a mistake. It's not so dramatic that it can never be done. But it's pretty dramatic. Anyway, Morello, I think it was earlier today, Morello actually said the same thing. So I was kind of vindicated by that. Like, I don't normally like to bash a champion, and I don't think it was totally bashing, because I like having Sorakas on my team. But man, they nerf her, but she still has the same impact. That's not to say she's overpowered or underpowered, just to say the first 20 minutes of the game suck balls. Sorry about my language. So, do you think Janna's overpowered compared to other supports? I'm totally on a tangent. I'll go back to it. I think Janna's very good. I know Janna and Soraka were both played a lot at MLG. And I know they were both very successful. And I also like Nautilus was played well. But anyway, yeah, Janna is good, but I think the difference between Janna and Soraka is Janna actually does something. Like, she actually can change the dynamic of the lane. She can actually, like, turn it into a fight's about to occur, we got to do whatever, you know, knock somebody up. Soraka doesn't do that. Soraka is the one that annoys me because she actually just makes it plain out boring down in bottom lane. But Janna, I don't know, again, like I say, it's not about being overpowered or underpowered, but Janna's just interesting in a lane. Like, you have to pay attention to Janna. The fact that she doesn't have healing, that's big. So she's a good support. Diet lemonade is gross too. Yeah, I don't know what it is. This bothers me to no end. I'll get back to your question, Chris. Trust you. Trust me on that. So diet lemonade, I don't know what it is, but it leaves me this, like the Minute Maid, 5 calorie per can or whatever, that leaves some kind of aftertaste. It gives me this tingly, heady feeling, like tingly, not a headache, but it just doesn't taste right. And it leaves a lasting non-taste right. I don't know what that is, but that drives me crazy. I'd love 5 calorie lemonade. That's what I could, if it wouldn't leave that gross taste. Okay, so what was our question? Chris, does following the meta in-game usually lead you to victory? Or, yeah, does following... what's the problem with having 2 bruises in the lane together? Okay, so the meta is good because it helps in most situations. The concept of the meta is you've got at least 3 players at any given time near Dragon, ideally 4, and then your top lane may have teleport for 5, or they may have a global ultimate like Gangplank or something. So the meta is all about Dragon control. You've got the support carry bottom lane, you've got the AP carry mid lane, bruiser whatever top lane, and you've got your jungler, and your jungler is obviously mobile. They can be at top, they can be at bot, they can be at mid, they can be in the jungle, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And the idea behind the meta, I know I'm rehashing this for all you guys who already know this, like inside and out, but it does help answer the question. The idea behind the meta is you can control Dragon, and the other idea behind the meta is you have your AD carry down at bottom who needs a lot of gold, and so you have a support with them who isn't taking any farm. In some cases they can, like even in our games, like sometimes Splug will take some farm, and or we'll even split up farm, and it's okay to do that. But like the hardcore meta is the support does not take any farm. They don't kill any minions unless of course their AD carry just won't get those minions. So they're back at base, and the support ought to be trying to get last hit. They shouldn't just totally ignore it. But anyway, that's kind of the concept behind it. And the idea being that support is better for getting gold per 5 items, which in turn wind up getting them gold and letting them contribute to the team. And they can also roam, they can put wards down, they can do whatever. The AP carry alone at mid, because the AP carry wants the extra experience, and they tend to gain more power simply by getting higher levels, though of course they get the free gold too in the lane. The AP carry is also in the safer lane. Mid lane is a lot safer. That's kind of the... I don't think a lot of people realize this, but mid lane is super safe because it is a short, tiny lane. Because it's going diagonally across the map. There is no point in mid lane where you can actually go through and... How to put this? I mean, I feel like I should actually just load up the map I was working on. Should I? No. Yeah. Okay. But I'm just going to use my mouse cursor here because it's going to be too much of a pain to set up the set up everything. Where are my tools? Oh, there you are. Okay. So here I'll just draw on a brush layer here. So this lane is like super... Hey, why are you down to 1 pixel? Let's get something bigger. That's still really... Okay, let's just change you out like this. Okay, so this lane, super short. And there's no way that somebody... What I just marked here are the 2 cross paths. There's no way that somebody can go in between, or 3 actually, go in between these towers without at least one of the towers attacking them. So there's no way anybody can get in there. Whereas up here, you can go in here, you can go in here, you can go in here, you can go in... actually, that's whatever. That's not what I mean to do. You can go in down here and you can get behind the tower. You can kill minions. You don't have to worry about the towers, which are right here, whatever. But anyway, at mid lane, your AP carry is super, super safe because they're really close to their tower, and the actual lane itself is really safe. It's hard to flank it. You get some wards out, whatever, you're going to be fine. Yeah. So your AP carry gets farm, gets experience, becomes more powerful, whatever, and they're safe. And that's the key. And if they need to go back, they're also closer to the other lane, so they can go and gank more easily. And if they need to go back to base, they can get back to mid lane faster because the side lanes are just so long, so incredibly long, whereas this is just really short. So yeah. Anyway, that is what it is. So I'll finally answer your question. If you're not trying to control dragon, the meta doesn't matter as much. If you're not actually going to take advantage of the lane makeup, the meta doesn't matter as much. If you're not counter-picking or your champions aren't very good against the champions they're against, so let me think of an example, like... Trying to think of a good example. Well, okay, so here's a good example. Let's say you're playing a AP carry and you go mid, but your opposing team sends Talon mid, and then Talon just wrecks you because you're an AP carry. You know, you're expecting to go against an AP, and if you weren't prepared for it and you didn't play somebody who could actually do well against a Talon, and by the same token, like, you didn't take your armor runes or whatever, and the Talon just wrecks you. If you stick to the meta in those situations, like where the person you're going against is just going to get kill after kill after kill in your lane, that's horrible. So you have to be willing to adjust. At the very least, you need to counterpick in your lane as much as possible. But also, people can take advantage of the meta. Again, the Talon example is like, you're pretty sure they're going to send an AP at mid, so you pick Talon so you can go mid and counter them. Yeah. So Urgot's another good example of somebody who can be played really well as a counter pick. So like Udyr going top, I was just watching a video, a pretty good video, about solo top trading and all this stuff. I wish I could remember the name of the person who put the video up so I could actually credit them. Pretty good video about counterpicking and trading up top, and this is on Reddit, so if anybody wants to link that, go feel free, because I can't remember the name offhand. So if you're at top and you're playing like Udyr, but then somebody counterpicks you with Urgot, well, top lane is essentially screwed if you're Udyr in that situation, because Urgot is going to do such a good job locking you down. And there's just all sorts of things like that. So you don't want to stick to the meta at the cost of losing your lane, and anybody can counter the meta by picking to counter your lane. The meta generally is more likely to win than other things, but it's not gonna win you game. So, getting to part 2 of your question, what's the problem with having 2 bruisers in a lane together? You're sharing gold, and you're sharing experience, and whoever you're going against is gaining experience at a faster rate. That is not as big of a deal in League of Legends as it is in Heroes of Newerth and Dota, where Dota 2, like... Heroes of Newerth and Dota 2 are almost identical games, just different champions at this point, and I think some different items and some different mechanics. But anyway, like, at level 6, there's a number of champions in Dota 2 and Heroes of Newerth that, if they're against 2 opponents, they can kill both of those opponents with their ultimate. Like, as soon as they hit level... I think it's level 6, right? It's been so long since I played Heroes of Newerth. But I think Ultimate's still unlock at level 6. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So yeah, you're sharing gold. You're not getting as much experience. 2 bruises in a lane. The implication there is that, like, another lane or 2 other lanes are solo, and or you don't have a jungler. So you're opening up your jungle to be not counter jungle, but just taken by their jungler. I don't know. There's not. No, you don't really want 2 bruisers in lane. Unless it's bottom lane, unless it's a kill lane and you're actually like totally set up like that. And I know there's a question about kill lanes, so I'll just say that real quick, or gank lanes, as it was said, but I think when you're referring to gank lanes, you're essentially referring to kill lanes. So a kill lane is when you, again, countering the meta, AD carry bot and support bot. But instead of an AD carry bot and support bot, your team sends like a Pantheon and a Jax. because both of them can avoid auto attacks from the AD carry. So you take both of those, and both of them have stuns, both of them have jumps. Both of them deal fairly high damage fairly early on in the game. So while they're going down there with the AD carry and support, you're going down there with Pantheon Jax, and you both are trying to kill their AD carry and just shut them completely out of the early game. The problem with kill lanes is if you fail, you completely screw your team over throughout the game. If you succeed, you completely screw their team. It is a high risk, high reward thing to do. Actually, it's not even high risk, high reward. I'd say it's high risk, medium reward, just by comparison, because you take so much of a risk of the other team actually like just playing it super safe, and if they play it super safe and you don't have that AD carry collecting gold down bot, maybe they're up top, maybe they're countering top lane. It kind of depends on how you set it up, but anyway, you're usually giving something up to try a kill lane. So you can do kind of a moderate kill lane. This is, when I refer to a kill lane, a lot of times I'm referring to actually not that like Pantheon Jax example. I'm actually referring to like a Leona instead of a Soraka, where the Leona can actually just jump on somebody, lock them down, but they're still pretty close to the role of a support. They just don't have sustain. They're not going to keep you as the AD carry alive, but what they're going to be doing through the game is helping you get opportunities to get a lot of damage on your opponents, potentially get early kills. They'll still be getting, they still don't need to take much CS because they're getting gold per 5 items. Tanks really fit into that role of support. Even though tanks play differently than support, they can essentially do the same thing, which is collect gold per 5 items and play passively in the lane. Not all of them, but some of them are pretty strong at it. So like a Nautilus, Leona, Nunu to a degree, although I'm not referring to Nunu as a tank in this regard, but just as a champion that does not provide sustain to the lane. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. I hope I answered that question to some decent degree. So, because I think I went way overboard on it. Iskander. By the way, I got a lot of questions, and I'm not going to answer them all. I'm only answering... In fact, that was the only one that was totally, completely related to in-game League of Legends that I'm going to answer. Because I did want to talk about some of the kind of the bigger questions. So I probably will answer some more of your questions tomorrow. But anyway, let's jump into the next one. Iskander, could you talk a bit about Dota 2 versus League of Legends and how the official release of Dota will affect the League of Legends community, as well as some differences in gameplay and play style? Also, will you consider switching your commentaries and video content to Dota 2? And if yes, then why are you dedicated to League of Legends? I don't think that's how you meant to phrase that question. Or maybe it is. Okay. Seems like it should be, and also if no, why are you dedicated to League of Legends? But I could be wrong. So anyway, Iskander, could you could you talk a bit about Dota 2 and League of Legends and how the official release of Dota will affect the League of Legends community? Okay, so League of Legends, huge game. The game is designed from the ground up to be accessible. And that's kind of the main thing about it. League of Legends is super accessible. Free to play, it's got just a pretty good setup. It has, by being accessible, become the dominant game in the category. And I'm not just talking about free to play, I'm talking about like everything about it. The ease of getting into learning the game, all the stuff all the stuff that's part of learning the game. It's generally just a better environment. But again, I'm going to say this with the caveat that I have not played Dota 2 or Heroes of Newerth. I have not played either of these games in months. But I do not believe that it's been a significant change since then. I could be wrong. Valve might be doing a wonderful job with their community. I know I've been reading up on some of their initiatives and how they're going to make the game potentially free to play to players who are good in influence in the community, all that stuff. But anyway, Dota 2, your question is about community, but let me get into something a little broader. Dota 2, what it is doing is making League of Legends a better game. Riot has to compete for its customers now, and that is huge. I think I think they feel at Riot like there is a fire under their ass, and they have got to do a better job with League of Legends because there are so many projects that they have flat out failed with. Talking about like Eve, talking about the Magma Chamber, talking about things like this, big things that they announced, but then they never got out the door. So Eve, when I'm talking about Eve, I'm talking about the stealth rework. Just big things that they never got out the door. I think there's a fire under their ass because in the last couple months, I think just in the last few months, I have seen big change after big change positive for this game being released. And this is coincidentally at the same time that Dota 2 is really ramping up. It's going to be released. It's got all these people playing its beta. But I'm talking about things like, obviously the graphics overhaul is big. You've got these champion reworks. You've got the live team doing a lot more, balancing champions. You've got the all random, all mid map coming out. You've got just all sorts of these crazy things that are coming out right now. Yeah, it's very impressive. It's very good. So that's kind of the first impact it's having. Now, Riot is a good company. It's under NDA, so I can't talk about it, but I will say that I have been to the Riot headquarters down in Santa Monica, and they are a good company. They genuinely are a good company. They really care about their product. They're not just all about money, and they're not, whatever. They really do care about their product, but parts of what they've done have been mismanaged. There's no other way to put it. Boy, I'm trying to think, like, what's another example? I don't mean to rail on Riot here, because I do like Riot. I want League of Legends to be just an incredibly awesome game. And in a lot of ways it is. But I don't mean to totally rail on them. But I'm trying to think, like, way back, I remember in 2010, man, there was this huge thing about they were going to release, like, these new player tutorials. And I won a little video contest where I had to make a 1-minute video about, I think I did this about turrets, towers, whatever, and just kind of some basic structure mechanics. That never went anywhere. Like, they did a bunch of these contests to collect video content for tutorials, and it never went anywhere. And you know what they released? They released this silly little timeline feature that I just was amazed by it. I don't know. Maybe you guys love this timeline feature, but I didn't even know it was in here until it was pointed out to me. So I'm actually going to just load this up and... So you can go through and, like, go through the history of League of Legends, all the patches, all these things. But honestly, what value does this bring to the company? What value does this bring, more particularly, to League of Legends players? There are very few players who actually want to go through, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't think I am. There are very few players who actually want to go through and look through all of the previous patches. And this is a huge project. I mean, this is not something that they just put together all small, and they did the promotion and everything for it. I don't know. So that's kind of getting to the Dota 2 is lighting a fire under their ass because everything I've seen recently has been a big and positive change. They've even upgraded, like, the champion spotlights. Man, it's just, I'm trying to think because I know I've seen even more, like, other good changes that have come recently. Anyway, and you're going to see more. As Dota 2 gets more and more popular, what Riot's going to go and do is they're going to get that stealth rework out. They're really going to be improving on just about everything they can get out there. And you're going to see more with the esports scene. They've done a lot with the esports scene. They've done a lot at bringing in other casters. It's not all about, Freak anymore. They've done a lot with bringing in quality casters, getting spectator mode. Boy, that's one that should have been in like 2 years ago. But now that it's in, they did a great job with it. It's one of those, they're doing a good job. And I know there are fanboys out there for Riot. And for any company, there are fanboys out there that are going to say, man, this is like, they were going to do that anyway. Dota 2 had no effect on it. But that's what competition does. In a healthy economy, that's what competition does. And this is a healthy economy in this sense. Riot is producing a better product as a result of Dota 2. So all of that said, Dota 2, I think, is a good influence for League of Legends. What impact will it realistically have? I think Riot is probably more concerned with Dota 2 than most League of Legends players are. Riot, not all of them, but a lot of them are very concerned about like the pro scene and the pro player scene. But I'll tell you, the majority of players in League of Legends, including myself, are not in that pro scene. Like, I don't even particularly care about the pro scene, except I want to see, you know, the best ways to play the game. I want to play the game smarter, I want to play the game better, but I don't really care about, you know, who wins the tournament. I want to see the cool plays out there. So I think Riot's more concerned just on behalf of the pro scene, and you know, if any of them leave for League of Legends or for Dota 2 or whatever, I don't think it'll have that huge of an impact on League of Legends though. I don't think a lot of pro teams are going to leave to Dota 2. Maybe some will, but I don't think a lot of teams will leave for it. But man, players like me, you know, the reason I stopped playing Heroes of Newerth is because I had friends who only wanted to play League of Legends. It was, the community was too awful in Heroes of Newerth. There were a lot of mechanics, a lot of extra mechanics that you had to keep in mind, and not knowing them really screwed you. Again, Heroes of Newerth, Dota 2 being almost identical games, but not identical. There are some core differences, speaking of items, speaking of champions, speaking of some mechanics, but they're a whole lot more similar than League of Legends in either game is. So there you go. I think it'll be a positive impact, and I don't think the community will be too heavily affected. I don't think it's going to be like one way or the other. Like some people say, well, a lot of the trolls will leave for Dota 2, or a lot of the trolls will stay behind and good players leave. No, that's not what will happen. A percentage of the community will leave. Percentage, I think a much, much greater percentage will not leave, and League of Legends will continue to grow as a game. And if they... I shouldn't diminish the pro scene that much, because the pros are... There's a lot of following there. I mean, there really is. So, a lot of following. You've got tens of thousands of people watching them at any given time, and especially at these tournaments. So, it's a good impact on the game, and that is going to be big. I shouldn't diminish it so much as I am. Okay, so, let's see. Some differences in gameplay and playstyle. That was part of the questions. I got to go back. So, differences between League of Legends... No, I got a video on this. It's Heroes of Newerth versus League of Legends, the unabridged... Did I take it down? Well, I have a video which, I should say, Riot was not particularly fond of. I have a video which compares Heroes of Newerth and League of Legends, which I thought was a pretty fair comparison, and... I think it's still up, but I might have taken it down. But if you want to see the differences, watch that video. It's, I don't know, 300,000, 400,000 views. Might be more, might be less. Let me see. Actually, let me see. Heroes of Newerth versus League of Legends. Yeah, it's still up. Oh, 450,000. Heroes of Newerth versus League of Legends, a complete unabridged Bible. Now, this is an old video, but it's essentially the same. The differences aren't much different, and again, keeping in mind that Dota 2 and Heroes of Newerth are pretty similar games. Maybe I should update that. Anyway, there you go. So I'm not going to get into the details on how they're different, because you can find out most of it right there. Will you consider switching your commentaries and video content to Dota 2, and if yes, then why are you dedicated to League of Legends? So, no. I will always consider other games. I will always consider covering other games, but I am committed to League of Legends. I have no plans to move on from League of Legends. Yeah, I got more work to do with League of Legends, so you'll see me continuing to be with it. If I get into Dota 2, it'll be purely an addition. I'm not planning at all on any like switchovers to doing just Dota 2. And there's more involved in that than just the games, because I do think Dota 2 will be a fine game, and I think I'd enjoy playing Dota 2. But yeah, there's more to it than that. Like, I have to get the video views, part of my income. And that actually leads right into... Jared. Jared's question. Hello, Ciderhelm. I am a student that just barely graduated high school a few weeks ago. And as my career, I want to do something like you do, as in stream and make YouTube videos and make money off of guides that I write. Problem is, I have no idea where to start. Do you have any tips on how to collect a fan base, how to write professional guides, or any of the techie stuff like streaming? yeah. How much... You don't have to go to college to be good at this. And a lot of people who... how to put this? You probably should go to college. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody not to. But personally, my college years were a waste of time. They really were. And that can easily be true unless you're taking something like, engineering, mathematics. So I'm not trying to discourage you from that. But I do think you should do it. But whatever. So kind of leading into that question. So you just graduated high school. How do you collect a fan base? You make good content. You find a niche that people aren't filling adequately enough. Or you find a niche that people are filling but do it better than them. And do it consistently. You've got to work basically for a very long time. Keep doing something that is high quality, and eventually you will catch on. So, wait, is that here? Oh, cool. Hi. So you're hearing my son in the rumble machine. I apologize if that's annoying, but he's having fun. So, where was I going with this question? Okay, so here's the deal. I think about 8 months ago, maybe 10 months ago. Okay, so I'm self-employed. I've gotten into this subject quite a few times on this stream. And I should probably do like a whole episode or just like a standalone video on self-employment because there's so much that's important to it. So let me get into kind of the... trying to think of how to even start this conversation. My very first web project that I made money from was modifying someone's vBulletin installation. And it only made me a couple $100. So, I've worked as a salesman. I've worked, I joined the military, but I worked as a salesman after that. Went to college. Again, kind of all, I don't know. I was going to say stupid, but it wasn't all set. This is going to be kind of a personal answer, so let's just get into it. Once I was out of high school, my grades weren't amazing. I could have gone to like college, but it wouldn't have been like a very nice college, and it didn't really matter to me. I didn't want to go to college. Also, putting it very frankly, I was raised Mormon. It's pretty personal, but oh well, I'll get into it. I was raised Mormon in a Mormon family, and I'm not actively, I'm not a practicing Mormon right now. A lot of good values. I really appreciated it. It was a great environment. Family's great. Just great environment. But part of it is I really just didn't want to... I didn't really want to go to college, but I also really didn't want to go on a Mormon mission. So part of my escape from that, it's pretty customary. If you guys have friends who are Mormons, who are like graduating or whatever, you've seen this probably. So they'll go on a mission for 2 years, usually in a foreign country, and I didn't really want to be a part of that. So kind of my escape from that was joining the military. So I joined the Marine Corps and didn't stay in the Marine Corps very long. I had a medical discharge, honorable medical discharge. Wasn't even in for a year. Again, nothing too, like 8 months, I want to say I was in. But anyway, I was discharged. And then after that, got a girlfriend. Let's see. Just worked as like a Sears salesman for like television electronics. I hated that job, just despised it. Worked as a security guard. That was an interesting job. But then it wasn't until like I was playing World of Warcraft, and I was in college and I was playing World of Warcraft, and then I wanted to make some extra money and not be just dependent on my parents' income or whatever. I wanted to make some extra money beyond what I was making. And I worked at a glass company too. Boy, I forgot about that one. Anyway, so I installed somebody's vBulletin for him, and then I turned that into I turned that money into a license for vBulletin, built some websites, and then eventually built TankSpot. I think the original license I got for that $200 back then. I think it's like 400 now or something crazy. I don't remember how much, or it was like 120 back then, or maybe even less. I don't remember. Anyway, eventually that same license wound up being what started TankSpot. TankSpot was very, very successful. Yeah, TankSpot was very, very successful. But let's go ahead and jump into kind of the where I was going with this in the first place. So I have several sources of revenue, several streams of revenue, and that's something that's really important if you're self-employed. So I've got like the ebook selling, obvious examples. I've got a couple contracts, but the main ones that you can see, and you probably have seen, I am selling an ebook. I was selling two, but I actually made the first one free recently. So I'm selling an ebook, and at the same time, I'm earning money from advertising on videos. So those are two sources of income that you can see. You never want to rely on just one source of income. But anyway, in setting this up for League of Legends, I said about 10 months ago, I'm going to do something big with League of Legends. I'm really going to spend a lot of time on League of Legends. I'm going to commit my time to it. This is when I couldn't do MMO stuff anymore. I talked about this recently. I couldn't do MMO stuff anymore because we're having our first kid. So I said, okay, my plan right now, I'm going to get into League of Legends, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm going to, come up with some good concept, which eventually became the Don't Feed series. I'm just not going to stop working. I'm going to make sure that I'm always getting something out there and that I'm continually improving my work. Anyway, I had almost no views on my YouTube channel at that point. Pretty low subscribers. So when I committed to doing League of Legends, I did not have much of an audience because what I had were people who played MMOs and followed me, but I was mostly still making money off websites, not YouTube. The last time I had done YouTube was way back when TankSpot was around, and like before Zam and all that. That's the last time I did YouTube. I didn't do anything with advertising back then because it wasn't around then. So getting into, you have to be persistent, you have to be confident, you have to put in the work, you have to have a good concept. I made that commitment 10 months ago. I've met every goal I initially had. Every single goal I initially had. And I made that commitment when I had no viewers. I had very few viewers. I had a very small audience. But I was confident enough that I would be successful with it and at least get to this point and hopefully go further than this. I was confident enough about that that I was able to commit myself to it and go forward with it. So it doesn't directly answer your question of how, but it also does. You have to be confident. You have to work hard. You have to come up with that concept. You have to work. Yeah. Being self-employed is harder. No, it is harder work, but it's more gratifying than a lot of jobs. Not every job. Some jobs are just amazing, right? Like, again, saying... From my experience, when I was at Riot's headquarters, boy, those jobs looked amazing. They had some... I don't even know... Yeah, I guess it is under NDA, so I can't really say too much, because I don't know what I can say, but if you work for Riot, you're probably doing pretty well in terms of having a fun time, especially if you want to live in Southern California. You're going to have a fun time. So there's obviously a lot of good jobs out there. Working for yourself is just wonderful, but you have to have that work ethic. You have to. I didn't used to have a work ethic the way I do now, and maybe that's just part of maturing. Maybe that's just part of getting older. But I didn't really get my work ethic until probably 6 years ago. When I was about 21. I don't know. Part of why I didn't have such good grades in high school. Well, also high school was dumb. Are we getting a... Oh, that's bad. There we go, that's good. Hey! Kind of a silly... Yeah! I have opinions about high school that are not very good. Oh, come on. See if I can get a little bit of a smile. I'm deviously trying to tickle him, but I don't think that's actually going to succeed. The shirt says, world's most... Or world's... No, it just says most eligible bachelor. My wife got it for him. Actually, last night when I was seeing Prometheus. Yeah, I had to see Prometheus. I had to see Prometheus alone. I'm gonna see it again with her, but I had to see it alone. Because I can't take him into the movie theater. That'd be a horrible movie for him. If you've seen it, you know why. It'd be a horrible movie for him to see. But then his grandmother's taking care of him soon. Oh! Well, not so cheer. Oh, wait. There we go. There we go. A little bit of a smile. Where am I? What am I talking about? I'm talking about being thirsty. So hold on just a second. And I actually lost track of my YouTube comments. So, yeah, I'm not, I don't know. I was one of those kids in high school, and pretty much everything where I didn't really want to do the work unless it interested me, and not a lot of the work interested me. But also, I was just so cynical about it all. Like, I wasn't cynical. I wasn't like I wasn't, I don't know. I felt education was kind of stupid, and I think I was right about a lot of it. Like, there's just so much in high school, at least where I went to school, that, man, I did not need to learn this stuff. Like, it was so useless to me. I'm trying to think of some... Okay, I've given this example before, but there was our history classes. In 12 years or 13 years of history, I learned, I think, one course on American history that wasn't the civil rights movement, and I think maybe one course on... Did I ever take a course in European history? No. In 13 years, didn't learn anything about European history, and learned like maybe 6 months worth on American history that wasn't the civil rights movement. But I also learned probably every single year about the civil rights movement. I will say right now, so I have my hair short because I was in the military. I'm not a skinhead or anything, so please don't take this the wrong way when I say this. Yeah, it was just I don't care. Like, this stuff happened so long ago, and I think history is very important, but I don't want to learn the same history every year to make me feel guilty. Like, it's so dumb. And then we learned foreign history, but we didn't learn European history. And again, just kind of, I'm not so ethnocentric. It's good to, like, learn about other people, but there's a lot of cool history in Europe. There's a lot of cool history in America that is, like, should be taught. The Civil War is fantastic learning. And I didn't learn about the Civil War until I was out of school. Like, I knew generally that there was a Civil War, but man, you want to see an interesting war, you want to see, like, the birth of modern warfare, learn about the Civil War. Learn about, like, the generals, learn about, you know, the first use of machine guns, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's just fascinating. And European history is just riddled with fascinating stuff. But yeah, you don't learn about that. Like, I didn't learn about that in public school. I learned about the politically correct crap out there. I learned about Chinese history, and I learned about Russian history. And to a degree, Chinese history was useful because we have a lot of Chinese immigrants around here. So that's, you know, that's okay. But man, like, I just don't know how much I learned to value. And I didn't learn much science. That was kind of my fault. I took 4 years because it was easy. I took 4 years of electronics, and took the same course. Like, it wasn't like electronics 1 through 4. It wasn't like different courses. I took the same course, and it still gave me credit towards graduating. So that was pretty cool. Okay, so I've just kind of gone off into why I hated high school and why I hated... I don't know. They teach you so much crap. There's so much that you should learn. There's so much... Like programming. Nobody ever taught programming. Maybe they do in high schools now. But programming is like... That should be It's not hard. It's not hard to learn how to program. It's not like it's not a foreign language. I mean, you have to have logic. You have to be able to think it through. There's technicality to it, but this should have been taught. Like, we had an HTML class or something. Of course, this is a long time ago. This is like 99 to 2002 or something. Hello. I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop complaining about school. Whew. Hi. Yeah, I don't know. We might do homeschooling. I don't know. We got years to decide it. Maybe I shouldn't even say that, just in case we do go to public school. Somebody will go back and say, you let your child go through the public school system? I don't know. Okay. What was the question? Stream, make YouTube, make money off of guides that I write. Problem is I have no idea where to start. Yeah. I think I already covered that. Work hard, come up with a concept, find the thing that nobody else is doing. Be confident in your subject. You got to be confident in your subject. Like, I don't know. I'll still make mistakes here and there, but I'm confident enough to put my knowledge out there because I'm confident enough that it's right. You know, sometimes it's wrong, but most of the time it's not. And that's because I put a lot of work into verifying it, making sure it's right, not just because I'm super duper smart, but I actually log in the game and test things. So make sure that what you're doing, like, you actually know what you're talking about. That's important. Okay. Do you think League of Legends, from Sam, do you think League of Legends is a fad that is going on right now, or do you think it has longevity? People have stated that it has become more popular than StarCraft 2 and that it will exist for a long time. Do you agree, or do you think the MOBA scene will die out soon? Do you think League of Legends is a fad that is going on right now, or do you think it has longevity? We won't know until we see more. I know that, again, getting into Riot, like, they put so much work into their game. They care so much about their game that I don't think it'll be going away without them really fighting for it. So I think it'll stay. I think it'll both stay big, but also be a big game for a long time to come. And I think they've got a pretty cool concept where you keep releasing new content, you keep, like, bringing more to the game without giving people an expansion or a sequel, and just making that one game so amazing, so good, so expanded on. I think that's a good concept, especially with the free-to-play, like the combination of free-to-play, where you pay for what you're using.
Really?
That was a pretty good throw. Good job. Yeah, I think it'll last for a while. I really do. Become more popular than StarCraft 2. I think Blizzard... I have no kind words for Blizzard these days.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no kind words for Blizzard because I feel... I am a cynic with Blizzard. I feel like almost everything they do has a money motive to it. And I feel like money is incredibly important for a large and successful gaming company, but I feel like you can still not sacrifice gameplay to make money. And I think, like, League of Legends has got that figured out, how to make money, you know, skins especially, without sacrificing gameplay. But Blizzard, man, I just feel like I've been screwed over by them in so many different ways. Like, I don't know, having to be online to play single-player Diablo 3, that's not just about money. To be fair, that's also about, like, the integrity of the game, the security of the game, whatever. But still, I mean, come on. Hi. I don't know. Diablo 3 has disappointed me. I don't know. There you go. So this is pretty long, and let me actually look through some of the YouTube comments here. Don't homeschool. I went to high school, K through 9. My 10th grade year, I was homeschooled, private schooled. 1 year later, I turned to you. Oh. And your social skills weren't even... Well, hell, I didn't have great social skills. So... Anyway, this is... My social skills were almost non-existent after I was homeschooled for a year. I'm pretty sure it depends on how you're homeschooled, right? Like... I've had a number of very good friends who were homeschooled, and there are all sorts of things you can do. Like you can organize with other homeschooled. If you're homeschooling your children, you can organize with other homeschooling parents to do activities, all sorts of things. I don't know. Like I feel like the whole high school like mentality, and even college mentality. College is not really more mature. It's just you're away from your parents, and so you can get away with doing more stupid stuff. But it's certainly not more mature, I don't think. So I don't know. I don't feel like you learn really anything of value in high school. But hey, that's maybe I'm just bitter. What is the meaning of life? I have no idea.
42.
But you should 42. You should watch Prometheus for that question. On that note, I've been watching. Where am I? I finally got Babylon Season 4, and I'm up to Babylon 5 Season 4. Yeah, pretty cool. I am continually more convinced that it's a pretty good show, and I really was not with that first season. So I'm almost to the point where I can watch like all the Babylon 5 movies too. Let's see. All Blizzard gets is my 15 months of play, and I like pets, but I'm not giving more Blizzard more money than I need to. Yeah. Is there a way to... Yeah, there's a way to homeschool with other families that are homeschooling to make a small community. That's what I did. Krezite said something in here in chat, too. But chat's really small. Let's see. Battlefield 3 versus Morrowind 3. Modern Warfare 3. That shows about how much I actually play that series. I haven't played Battlefield since 1942. Have I? I played either Modern Warfare 3 or Battlefield 3 from Origin. I'm not sure which one. I think it was Battlefield. Anyway, I made it probably 15 minutes before realizing I didn't want to do video content for it, which is that's sadly half of what I need to actually really invest time into a game, is realizing whether I can make videos for it or not that are going to be any good. Yeah, I mean, I could have, but it would have taken me a long time to learn it really well. Blizzard sucks as a company. That's why WoW is losing subscribers, and EVE Online by CCP is growing exponentially. Well, I'm happy to hear EVE Online is doing well. Maybe I'll actually give that a try. But WoW is not the only MMO losing subscribers. Like Star Wars, The Old Republic losing subscribers. MMOs in their old form, and I do call it old, even though these are recent games. I don't think they're going to stay around too long. I mean, they'll stay around forever, but I don't think they're going to be hugely popular for too long. Do you watch Game of Thrones? Yes. Yeah, so I just saw the end of Season 2. And I will go ahead and, say what I think everybody else on the internet has said. I would like to give you my money, HBO. Take my money, HBO. HBO is the stupidest company. How can I put this? So the vice president of HBO said that people are cutting cords because of a bad economy, and that's why they're seeing fewer subscribers to HBO or whatever. I don't know that they said they're seeing fewer subscribers, but that they will not be offering a dedicated streaming service like Netflix has $10 a month, right? I don't remember which other services are out there, but basically, yeah, Hulu. But what do you get from Hulu?
Lots of stuff, but I'm not Korean drama.
But don't you get Korean dramas anyway? Oh, so it is totally... Okay, so Hulu, Netflix, yeah, HBO has these series, particularly Game of Thrones, where I would happily pay them $20 or $20 a month while it's going on. I would happily do that. But you know what I don't want to do is pay my cable company for cable television because I don't give a damn about cable television. It's just so useless to me. I have so much going on the internet, and this is a trend. This is the vice president of HBO really believes that doing all of this through the cable companies, so people cannot get access to their shows without going through a cable company. He really believes that that's okay because the economy is the only reason that people are not using cable television anymore. He is a moron. This is the kind of guy that tanks companies. I just can't believe that. I just cannot believe that. It's an actual trend that people are leaving, and this is something we, anybody like me or anybody like you guys probably has realized from 10 years ago that people would stop using, or 5 years ago, that people were going to stop using cable TV to watch cable television shows. And all of these other companies have figured that out, and that's why I can watch the shows I want on Netflix, on Hulu, on whatever. Yeah, I don't know. This is dumb. This is my ranting. But yes. What is your family's opinion on your self-sustaining business, so to speak? Do they care for it? I hope so. I mean, yeah. Like, which family? Like, are you talking about my parents, or are you talking about my family with my wife and my son? How to put this? Okay, so this is the same thing a lot of you have had to deal with. My parents, I love them. My dad's the one who actually got me started in computers. He's not like a big computer geek at all himself, but he's the one who got me started in... he bought my sister and I like a 286 PC, like 8286. Anybody who remembers that, you're pretty old like me, or older. An 8286, we had DOS, and we got Windows 3.1, and... he got us started on that pretty young, made sure we learned how to use computers, supported us and everything, but my parents don't understand what I do. My sister does, my older sister does, because her husband works for Microsoft. But, yeah, my parents don't understand, well, they do. They're supportive. They're supportive because it earns them money. And so they realize that it's a job, and they understand it, but they don't understand it, right? And if you're not making money, but you're trying to explain to your parents why it's important to learn these skills, or why you're doing what you're doing, or why you're playing games in the middle of the night, which maybe you shouldn't be doing, good luck. But yeah, I mean, everybody's, in our generation, a lot of people have had to go through this. Parents just don't understand, but that doesn't mean that it's always okay to... that doesn't mean that you're always doing the right thing and that they're wrong. But on the whole, just not completely understanding this generation is pretty common. That's why I think, have I already talked about SOPA and PIPA and ACTA and all this stuff? I mean, I have at some point. I think I was asked about it on stream, Late Night League, when I was doing the late night, middle of the night stuff. But can I get any more? This is going to be the most ranty stream ever. Yeah. There are a lot of smart people in government, but...
I got 100,000 subscribers. Let me complain all stream long.
Yeah. I got 100,000 subscribers. Let me complain all stream long. There are a lot of smart people in government, but there are also a lot of dumb people in government. And there are a lot of smart people in government who don't understand what they're writing laws about. Any law regarding to the internet just makes me cringe. Pretty much all of them just make me cringe, and there's just a whole generation of people who are trying to change the shape of something that is totally new to them, that they do not understand, and they could wind up destroying something that is incredibly important. Yeah. So we'll see. I always get really worried about these big, SOPA and all this stuff, because it would directly affect me. It would actually directly affect my income. Just sites getting shut down, all sorts of stuff. You always have to look at the worst case scenario, because you have to assume the worst case scenario when a law like that comes into place. So we'll see. That is an awesome picture. All right, you gotta send that to me. That is an awesome picture. We got a good picture of Logan coming. Ooh. Looking at more of these comments. I've heard you talk about programming a couple of separate times. How much exactly do you know programming-wise? What languages? Do you actually write programs for personal use? Okay, so I'm not a professional programmer. I'm a hobbyist programmer. And when I was pretty young, I learned BASIC, and BASIC is not a real language, but it's a more logic. This is back when you like designated everything by line numbers, and you would actually go back to lines in the code. But I never learned object-oriented programming, and I've only kind of started to grasp object-oriented programming about a year ago. So only in the last year have I learned some basically real programming. So learn Java, not JavaScript, but Java, and Android programming, Android development. Some of the basics of C or C++, but I haven't done anything with that. And learning JavaScript, which again, not the same as Java, and not at all as complex, but just different syntax. PHP, just I've learned a lot more in terms of basic programming stuff, but I'm not a professional. This is not what I do for my job. All right. Second, I gotta find this picture. But anyway, what do I have right now? Yeah, JavaScript, Ajax. I have the books right next to me. Database programming, MySQL, that stuff. I don't know. It's not all that interesting. There's actually not much of interest for me to say here. Where does that go? Can I get it in here? Oh, there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go. There we go. That is unusually frizzy hair. And I'm going to see. You've mentioned that you had a good imagination and you want to write stories. Will you be the next J.R.R. Tolkien? No, I will not be the next J.R.R. Tolkien. I have a lot of respect for Tolkien. Boy, I really want to get into. If I could just take a week or take a month and just write, I would, but I can't. If I could take a month or a week and just program, I would, but I can't. But I'm worried that I don't know, I should just sit down and write, because like what I do for Learn the League and what I do for what I did for the tanking book is I just did a little bit at a time, but I can never seem to get myself into the mentality to do a little bit at a time for fiction. I think I'm just more daunted by it than I should be. Because it won't be amazing. Whatever I write will not be amazing writing, because it'll be my first like serious fiction writing. But I do think I have a good story to tell. I really do. I think there's a good story to tell. I just need to get down and write it at some point. What is that picture of, though? One that's sideways and a lovely picture of your son, by the way, from Mindberry Crunch, or Mintberry Crunch. So you'll have to watch the stream again, because that's one of the first things I talked about in the stream. Let's see. Yeah, you don't need a week or a month. You need an hour at a time. Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I know what you mean. If you had the chance and it wouldn't affect your life except for this, would you work for Riot? So, no. Well, what do you mean it wouldn't affect your life except for this? Like, if I had the chance to work from home and produce content for Riot, sure, yeah, of course. If I had to move to Southern California, from where I'm at right now, and have double the cost of living, have to deal with traffic on I-5 in Los Angeles every day, barely get any rain, not live right next to the mountains. No. So Riot's a great company, but working for yourself is really good too. I know I've talked about this because it's a recent thing, but we just moved out to this new place. We have a back, what is it, a deck? We have a deck out here, walk out onto it, and there's mountains in every direction. It's awesome. It's really cool. What else would I say? We went to North Bend. We've been to a few restaurants in North Bend. This is for people who are local. I went to Issaquah. I went to Issaquah to see Prometheus yesterday. So this is kind of the local conversation of the day. Boy, I turned off onto Issaquah, and I went like near the Pickering Farm, if anybody knows where that is. Well, anyway, that was my first time ever being there, and those streets are messed up. Getting to that theater is messed up. Yeah, that's worse than Lakewood. Lakewood has got some of the worst streets in our state, but I actually had more trouble getting to the stupid theater near Pickering Farm in Issaquah than I think I ever imagined I could have. Anyway, where have we been in North Bend? We've been to Boxley's. We went to Boxley's. That was pretty good. That was a really good sandwich, Boxley's. We went to J. Barry's. Good pizza.
North Bend Bar and Grill.
And we went to North Bend Bar and Grill. So this is for anybody who's like local and wants to try these things out. We went to Boxley's. We went to North Bend Bar and Grill. We went to J. Barry's. All three of those were amazing. Brunello, yeah, Brunello in Snoqualmie was amazing. So that's an Italian restaurant. And then we went to a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, I don't remember.
We went to a Mexican restaurant that was pretty good, and I think there's only two in North Bend. The one that is El Caporal, this one is not El Caporal. And that's all I can tell you about it because I forgot the name of it. Let's see. Have you ever been in Europe? And if so, where? So I've been to Germany, Denmark, and Italy. Yeah, Germany, Denmark, and Italy. And all of them were fantastic. Trying to see. What do you think of MOBAs moving on to... onto consoles? The Middle Earth one? Oh, people are mentioning Smite. I haven't even heard of Smite. Somebody said they would send... somebody said they would send me a beta key. Feel free. Because I haven't actually heard of Smite. The Lord of the Rings MOBA is going to be on consoles. For some reason, I just feel like that can't work. But... well... I don't know. I don't trust that. It's just too much like a strategy game, and strategy games don't port well to consoles. But if they pull it off, I mean, I guess you could do it. I mean, just like you could port Diablo 3 over to a console. But I just don't know how. I'd have to just see the game. I don't play games on my Xbox anymore. Like, that's just kind of the weird thing. Like, I think that's true of a lot of people. That's what... I read something on that. Why do we call it a game console when it's not really a game console anymore? Because my Xbox, I use it for Netflix. My wife used it for Hulu Plus. I use it for Zune. I don't know. I don't think I ever use it for... I used it for music in the past. But he's gonna see the mic and he's gonna go for it, and then he's gonna try to eat it. Yep. Oh. Oh. He's going to pull this. Yeah. 2 joysticks, one to move, one to aim, and the triggers to use abilities. Nope. Yeah, he's... Oh. All right.
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it is 4:25. What do you think about the possibility of Mists of Pandaria being released without Ray? I haven't even heard that. Boy, I was going to do a whole episode today. Originally, I was planning on doing an episode today about World of Warcraft. Just MMO, past history, cool stuff.
You should upload your videos. Really?
I don't know. Well, 1 second. Hold on, I do need you to take them. Because I gotta find these videos. Let's see. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And D drive. Let's go to. One moment, everybody. We are. See, will this load up? What? What's going on?
You boosted it. Oh no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I've got a whole collection of these videos from way, way, way back in. See, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to come through clearly at all through the stream. Maybe it will to some degree. You know what? I can just do this and then. It's small, but whatever. Anyway, I've got a collection of all these videos of World of Warcraft, vanilla World of Warcraft rating. So back in the 40-man days, those have not existed for a very long time online because they have copyrighted music on them. But honestly, it wouldn't be too much work for me to go and cut the music out and then either put new music on or probably.
He hit himself.
Oh. Or probably do some narration and stuff. So it's pretty. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff. I was going to just talk about rating and the cool impact it had on me and how it got me started and stuff. But then I figured a lot of you, I'm celebrating, 100,000 subscribers, and really a lot of you are not people who are familiar with me back from either World of Warcraft or at the very least before Tank Spot. My initial stuff back in vanilla. So, oh well. But anyway, I might upload those. My wife thinks I should, and I saw a few comments suggesting I do, so we'll see. All right. What do you think about the possibility? Yeah, I already got that. Reasoning could be a Blizzard wants you to explore the world without rushing it, giving people to enjoy, not rushing to raid with their guilds. Oh wait, if Blizzard wants you to explore the world without rushing through it, what? Like, that would completely go against Blizzard's operating. This is tragic. My son just kind of barely, I don't know, hit himself with his hand or?
On the desk.
Oh, on the desk, okay.
That was very hard though.
That wasn't hard, yeah.
I was holding him, he was just like...
My wife's holding him and he's a little bit unhappy. Yeah, Blizzard's entire thing is about making the game as accessible as humanly possible to people. That's why you have flying mounts in the first place. So, I don't know. I don't buy it. Like, if they did it, I think that would not be... It'd be a cop-out Yet another cop-out from Blizzard on not wanting to create good raid content. Aren't there still, like, huge issues with World of Warcraft raiding? Like, the bugs? What's the bug?
Oh, you fall off the platform on Deathwing?
So on Deathwing, on the final encounter, like, randomly just falling off the platform. And that's been there for, like, months and months and months. Like, I don't know. They should be fixing that stuff. Well, alright. I think I have done enough ranting, responding to questions. Looking one last time through stuff here just to see if there's anything. Yeah, let's go ahead and end it here, and I make no guarantees on a Learn the League today. Probably a Learn the League today. But I am not totally positive on it. Because I am in the middle of this, and I really want to get this done. But I'll probably get a Learn the League up. But no guarantees on it. We'll see. And I will see you guys tomorrow. 3 o'clock. Huh?
We should play games tomorrow.
Perhaps.
Because everybody is requesting.
Perhaps games tomorrow. Perhaps. Most likely. I think Blizzard dropped off a lot of their main developers or something. Yeah, a lot of main developers from Blizzard have left to create other games with other companies. I'm looking forward to Torchlight 2 on that note. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Again, we do have this contest. 5 copies giving away. You have to like the Facebook page, plus respond to it. And we'll randomly select 5 people, and 5 people will get a copy of Learn the League. www.learntheleague.com, and it has been fun. I will see you guys tomorrow. Be well. Almost. Okay, now be well.